Starters for the Dallas Sidekicks. David Doyle, a talented scorer at the midfield, along with Nick Stavro. Eric Date, Terry Woodbury listed at defenders. Tattoo at forward. Chuck Martini in goal. Tattoo not on the field as we get underway, however. And there you see Chuck Martini in the nets. His first touch for the Sidekicks. And he likes to maybe take a few chances, hold the ball longer than most keepers, and try to trigger some offensive play for Dallas. Dan Erickson underway for the Sidekicks. First shot right on to Martini. Dallas keeper with the save. Here's Doyle. Rejoined this team since our last telecast. Nice job there, really, by Erickson of just holding off the defender, protecting the ball as he's working against David Hudgel.
I think it's going to be very important for...
Off the post and in. A quick shot going in for Marcelo Fontana. And Martini never saw it. He was screened and the ball going off the post and in.
That's one of those starts where you say it's going to be very important for them to get a couple of early opportunities. That's about as early as you can get.
Watch Fontana just come off the wall. And Martini never saw it.
Right, and this is the kind of maneuver that really distracts keepers. That move across the top of the penalty area really was one that most keepers then shift to their left. And I suspect that if we had seen the picture from behind, that he would have just inched a little bit to his left and then been screened, and that's how those goals are scored.
20
command, and you're going to take a sit.
Special teams have not been kind to the SeaDogs this season so far. They're just 5 for 18, ninth in the league at 27%. From the top of score, how about that right off the bat? And it's Leo Pernia. Right off the restart, and the long ball has been a problem early on for Chuck Martini.
Well, this is a very subtle situation, but his defender has done the same thing both times. The first law of defense is that you don't do the goalkeeper's job, and on both of those screen goals that the SeaDogs have gotten, the defender has dropped back and screened out his goalkeeper. He's got to either step up or step over, but he can't stay there and not stop the shot.
Here it is again. You see Rusty Troy in front, and Erickson providing a screen as well. The SeaDogs with a 2-0 lead, a little over 4 minutes gone in the first quarter. Barry playing it back out on top, Reichert. Strong for Shamu in the corner. Pernia playing the boards nicely, but only as far as Woodbury. Past Reichert, they'll have to regroup a bit. And Martini, on another walkabout, puts it into touch. You're watching the CISL from...
Want an adjustable bed, but don't think you can afford one? Then you haven't priced Craftmatic adjustable beds lately. Craftmatic Model 2 beds cost hundreds less than these quality flatbeds. And this Craftmatic Model 3 is available at 50% of Craftmatic 2's low cost. 50%. Craftmatic Model 3 and 2 beds adjust to all these healthful positions and offer optional heat and massage, yet cost less than these quality flatbeds. Get our free catalog by mail, including information on Craftmatic 3s at savings of 50% of Craftmatic 2's low cost.
Hello, I'd like to receive your free catalog and 50% information by mail.
Certainly, sir.
It's easy, so call for this free catalog right away.
Call toll-free 1-800-852-9600. That's 1-800-852-9600. Toll-free 1-800-852-9600. Call now.
Now, Smith with a pair of defenders, backside, shot and a goal. A little over possession, and that's Dave Hudgel coming up with the tally for the Dallas Sidekicks, and Seattle kind of overplaying that time, Cliff.
Well, that's when the color guy wants to be a play-by-play guy, because I saw that gap open and the weak side guy come up from defense, and I was about to scream, "Watch out!" He because they opened that door for them, and that was really just a very bad defensive lapse on the part of the SeaDogs. You just have to keep looking for that backdoor man, and it was a classic picture of getting a split to the point of attack, and that's how those things happen.
Dave Hudgel's third goal of the season brings the Sidekicks back within one as we hit the final 30 seconds of play. Seattle had been getting away with a lot of that double marking on the ball, but they finally paid for it.
Well, and there's also a ball watching problem that occurs in any game of soccer. When the ball is on one side, the tendency is for everybody to watch the ball. You've got to keep both sides in view. The good back defender, the weak side defender, has got to keep peeking to see if anyone's sneaking in, which is exactly what happened when that goal was scored. I mean, that's one of those situations where if he doesn't score there, then something's wrong, radically wrong with Dallas, and he just took advantage of that lapse in the ball watching that was occurring.
Martini waiting for another ball to be brought out onto the field after the SeaDogs put it high. He's coming out to try to add to the attack here in the final 10 seconds. Doyle trying to turn on Murray. Little give and go. Doyle nearly breaking free. Murray just got a piece of it. And that'll end the first quarter of play. So the Sidekicks perhaps inches away from equalizing with 2 late goals, but they do get one in the final minute of the first quarter as Nat Gonzalez finally beaten. At the end of a quarter of play, it's the Seattle SeaDogs 2 and the Dallas Sidekicks 1. Stay tuned. We'll have more CISL action from Seattle after this timeout on Prime Sports.
Send that lead man out early on and get that banana pass through, such as that attempt was made or designed to do. I think they could hurt this team. And this is when coaches start to get a little nervous. I mean, you keep thinking, well, you know, we've been sort of holding them. Let's not make some silly mistake at this point. Well, one way to do that is to force them back in their own end and quit playing so defensive.
Dallas penalized on that clearance. Hamill will have the free kick here at the top for the SeaDogs. Pernia scores. Leo Pernia's second goal of the night.
Well, we said at the beginning that Leo Pernia was the kind of player that could really inspire this team and bring them together. Obviously, that didn't require a whole lot of power or skill. It was well set up. It was a fake move. I think everybody in the house thought it was going to go to the right, and Leo was left unmarked, and the opening was just as wide as a highway.
Just set it up perfectly for him. As you said, you really run on and touch it more than having to put anything on the ball.
Yeah, it was just technically correct. There wasn't any power to it. Again, the defender was right in front of Martini. If I were coach, I think I'd have something to say to who's playing the net at halftime, because they're giving him some problems, and if that player's going to continue to screen Martini, then he better stop the pass or the shot.
You saw Dave giving a little lecture there to Marcelo Fontana. That continued for the last 10 or 15 seconds for some reason.
What they should do in terms of just keeping their balance and not getting over anxious.
Earl, no one up top for his pass. Ferdinand able to chase this one down to Dion Earl. Pair of defenders on him. Martini lost it in the goal. Erickson there to get the ball. Cardinal sin for the keeper that time, and Chuck Martini paid for it.
Well, but it's not just a sin on the part of the keeper. This is a technically good picture of how you should shoot a ball. Actually, Erickson's the beneficiary of the tap-in, but Earl did something that he's capable of doing every time. That ball never left the turf. That's kind of one of those gopher balls, because it forces the keeper to go all the way down. Now, if you look at Martini on this save, or the attempted save, he's got his legs spread, his hands are down, and with a ball like that, it's going to be very difficult to maintain possession. He lost it momentarily. Erickson's right there to take advantage of it. So give Earl a lot of credit for that as well.
On the road.
Well, they're not playing like the top of the table tonight. And if Seattle can just keep frustrating a little bit.
And a goal for Dallas is Doyle able to get it home to Stavro, and Stavro able to convert. A very tough angle by Doyle. Stavro puts it home. for his 11th goal of the season. He had a goal and an assist in the first meeting between these two teams, and Stavro cuts it back to a 4-2 margin and silences his crowd.
Then part of this is screening, too, on Gonzalez, so it's not all his part. He had a lot of obstacles in front of him there, and that thing kind of ricocheted as well as it got inside. Take a peek here as it seems it comes back off the heel of the other player, and then he just struck it home.
Stavro from Doyle at the 14:06 mark, and it's a 4-2 game. Stavro with it once again. Looking for Troy, taken away by Leo Pernilla. Now Glenn Howell the other direction, waits for some support, and finds Leo Pernilla with 2 goals so far here in the first half. Final 30 seconds of the quarter. Gonzalez looking for Howell, marked there by Hudgel. Turns, nearly full turn. Instead, the shot by Broughton goes wide. Chased down by Earl with 15. Shannon Murray. Gonzalez takes a quick look at the clock. Waits for somebody to get open. He's just trying to play long ball. Martini can't get to it. Howell with Hudgel. And the SeaDogs won't be able to get the shot off. But a very good first half for the Seattle SeaDogs. 2 goals from Leo Pernilla, and at the break, the SeaDogs will take a 4-2 lead over the Dallas Sidekicks into the locker room. Check mark 2. As we've mentioned throughout our first half of play, rosters announced for the second annual CISL All-Star Game. And a look first at the starters for the Eastern All-Star lineup, and the players this year did the voting for the CISL All-Stars. Brent Phillips in the goal, Troy Snyder, his Washington Warthog teammate, joining him. Martinez from Monterey, Mariano Balella from Indianapolis, David Doyle from Dallas, and Zizino from Monterey. That's the starting lineup for the East All-Stars. The reserves, including P.J. Johns, Terry Rowe, Terry Woodbury of Dallas, Ziad Allen, Drago, Denison Cabral, Paul Daugherty, and Tattoo. Tattoo, of course, a perennial All-Star selection. And before our contest tonight here in Seattle, we had a chance to talk to him about being chosen for another All-Star team.
Well, I think not just in soccer, but every sport, when you go to the All-Star game, everybody want to score the goals, and the fans want to see the goals and things like that. So, it's tough for the defenders because nobody want to play defense anyway. So I hope, we'll give a little bit both ways. But, like I said, we want to see a, 12-10 games. We don't want to see a 2-1 game. So.
And the West All-Stars, Ian Fulton, the head coach. His keeper, Ruben Fernandez, starting along with Danny Pena, Ralph Black, and Jeff Betts from the Portland Pride, Dale Irvin from Anaheim, and John Perry of the Sacramento Knights. And the reserves for the West Side, Mike Dowler, David Banks, the SeaDogs, John Perderman and Leo Pernilla, Danny Barber, Don Gayard, John Ulumolomo, and Chris Scotty from Portland. And again, John Perderman, we mentioned, was an All-Star a season ago with Portland, chosen this year as a member of the Seattle SeaDogs, and looking forward to his second straight appearance in the All-Star game.
Well, it's an international game. It's something we've all played since we were kids, and it's kind of a language of its own. So you just go out there and different people understand their roles. The forwards are out there just to try to score goals. Defenders are just out there trying to keep from being embarrassed by there are a number of superstar forwards out there, so that's the main thing, is just go out there and enjoy yourself and have fun.
Perderman not looking forward to having to mark Tattoo once again in the All-Star format. A reminder, the 1996 CISL All-Star Game will be held at the America West Arena in Phoenix. It'll be Thursday the 15th. And for tickets to the second annual All-Star Game, you can call area code 602-379-7800. The East and the West scoring off on Thursday, August 15th. We'll have the second half from Seattle. Stay tuned. We'll have more action right after this timeout on Prime Sports. Surrounded by green shirts and taken away. Dave Matson bringing it out. Casal with Tattoo, gave it up. Smith has a couple of supporters. Perderman taking him away. Smith is getting one in the face, it looked like, and he's wondering why he didn't get a call. Valdivia trying to break, but Martini there to play it, and a good ball for Smith to Tattoo. There's a rare sight. Thing usually is like Velcro. And again, you said, Cliff, that Tattoo wanted it back right there on the return.
He's showing a little bit of frustration right now, and And that's a forewarning for Seattle.
Stavro scores. Tattoo just waited for him to get into the clear. So Tattoo getting another point to keep that scoring streak alive on the assist. Stavro picking up the goal, his second of the game, and 12th of the season.
That goal was really scored at the opposite end. Seattle got a little over anxious. It looked like they were going to get a good attack on goal. There was an interception, and they were just a little bit disorganized coming back. And then, of course, the goal was a lot like the shot that Dion Earl took for the SeaDogs. They never got off the ground, and those are the toughest for a goalkeeper to stop.
Tattoo wisely just waiting for some support, finding Stavro, and again now for Fernando Clavillo. You're barely into the third quarter, and it's suddenly a one-goal game after you're up 4-1.
And the SeaDogs can't start to talking themselves out. They just have to keep doing what they've been doing. They've been playing solid soccer, and they just can't get rattled at this point because that'll play directly into Dallas's hands.
You see Doyle very angry after being brought down by Ferdinand. I think he wanted more than just the whistle that time against the man they call the Terminator. Smith trying to step over. They're going to run out of time rather than power play at this rate. Doyle didn't get a good deflection off the boards that time, and that'll end the quarter. Dallas intent on trying to get a good power play opportunity, and the clock runs out on them in the quarter. They'll still have 32 seconds of power play with which to work as we'll start the fourth quarter with Seattle hanging on to a one-goal lead. End of 3, the SeaDogs 4, the Sidekicks 3. Stay tuned. The fourth quarter of CISL action comes your way from Seattle after this timeout on Prime Sports. Opposite corner, that Stavro trying to get it to him. Now back to Troy with 5 on the power play. To Smith. Stavro. Troy. Off the defender and in. It went off Ferdinand for the goal, and we're tied at 4. 34 seconds into the fourth quarter. Rusty Troy, the power play goal. And he is having a tremendous season. That's his 12th goal of the year. He's now just 2 points away from a career-high season, and we're not to the midway point. There's the deflection.
Well, a whole lot of that goal was created by Tattoo. For the 15 to 20 seconds before that goal was there, he was just tying Ferdinand and Knott back there, moving back and forth, tucking in behind him, forced Ferdinand to take his eyes off the ball, and every time he looked back, Tattoo was missing. And of course, he was coming late to protect that angle of the shot, and sometimes that's what happens. He's got to really keep his cool.
Well, they announced the foul as being on Casal, but you saw Fontana's reaction after the whistle. Woodbury on the field now. Tried to step around Howell, who's playing with arms, but Seattle able to convert on the interception now. Fontana brings it down, trying to get it to Howell. Troy smothers him. To Woodbury. Dallas coming back with some numbers the other direction now. Pernia trying to grab that time. Ball into the corner for Reichert. Hamill chases him down, steps around, and behind Gonzalez, and Dallas scores to take the lead. What a shot. Dave Reichert with his 12th goal of the year. That's a career high, and I think Gonzalez, again, we talked about it in the first half, played the far side and was surprised by where this one ended up.
Yeah, and there's a lot to be said about having numbers up whenever you're trying to score. Most goals are scored numbers down. In this case, he's counterattacking on his own with 2 defenders racing back, 1 over pursuing, and he was powerful enough to just pull the ball back and fire it in the near angle, which can be demoralizing. This is where a floodgate could open unless Seattle can get a break or make the break for themselves. It could be a really tough 10 or 12 minutes.
Reichert with his 12th goal of the year, beating his total of all of last season. And again, the SeaDogs having second half scoring problems. And in the second half so far tonight, they're down 3-zip, down 5-4 for the game now. Hamill. Murray has weak side again there. They finally thread it through for Leo Fernia. 2 goals tonight, just missed the third as he cracks it high. Smith able to get it out for a moment, but again, Seattle trying to get it in the corner, and now we're getting a little bit ugly now. Pernia battling with Smith. And now Tattoo and Fontana having words. There you see Pernia and Smith. His keeper, Martini, trying to keep him away.
Smith, the old veteran out there, he should know better than what's going on. It's kind of a tricky balance between not getting pushed around and doing something that's stupid.
Getting a little bit chippy, and I'm sure the frustration of giving up 4 unanswered goals for the Sea-Dogs doesn't help any either. Long ball looking into the corner for Broughton. He can't get around Troy, who looks to be about twice his size, as he tries to step around the Dallas defender. Into the bench, it'll be Seattle's ball.
Shamu is the right kind of guy to have up front there. He's a force. He hasn't been involved much in the game, but he's the kind of player that can come on late like this and create problems for a team that's behind.
Great speed on the counter, too.
Incredible.
Ferdinand lost his balance, manages to get it over to Earl. Back for Gonzalez, and again, still plenty of time here for Seattle. They need to create some opportunities and not panic.
And not get over anxious, not get frustrated. They just got to stay in there and look for an opportunity.
Boy, Martini, a point-blank save on Dion Earl after that one found its way to Earl. Erickson couldn't get a piece of the ball, and it nearly was a very, very fortuitous deflection for Seattle. Erickson steps around Hudgel. Double mark, the ball taken away nicely from him. Comes back to Dallas fans, and there are plenty of them behind their bench are hollering after that play. Martini lost it. Broughton scores. We're tied at 5 after the keeper's mistake. Sometimes you need a little help or a little luck, and it went Seattle's way this time.
And I think Bruce is a little injured. It looked like he pulled muscle or stubbed his toe or something on that, so he was hurting a little bit, but it always helps when the goalkeeper makes a mistake like he did, and he took that shot very well. Again, one of those low screamers that didn't get off the floor of the arena, and those are the toughest for the keeper to stop even when he is in position. In this case, he wasn't in position. He's moving. That's a deadly sin for a keeper.
All right, there's where he hurt himself. He kicked the board hard, celebrating after the goal, I think. Broughton coming up with the goal. With his 6th of the year, we have a timeout on the floor. 7:15 to play in the 4th quarter. The Sea-Dogs are tied with the Sidekicks at 5. Stay tuned. We're going to have a thrilling stretch. CISL action coming your way from Seattle on Prime Sports.
So it took some gutsy defending here and some risk. This is when you just kind of get desperate. Keeper makes a terrible mistake here. Of course, doesn't clear the ball, and then he's out of position. Even if he gives the ball away, if he plants and gets ready for the shot, he might have a chance. But in this case, he was back heeling, and there's hardly any opportunity for a keeper in this situation.
That was an extra dry Martini that time.
I like the way it's
and it's grabbed by Gonzalez. Finally puts it on the deck. Again, he has to get rid of it within 5. Straight up. Howell with time to control. Finds Fontana nicely. Pernia has Hamill in the corner. Uses him. Hamill tried to get it through. Blocked. Now for Howell. Off speed and scores! Glenn Howell, seeing his first action of the season, gives Seattle a go-ahead goal with 6:22 left in the 4th quarter.
In the law of the jungle, it's survival of the deadliest. These are the weapons that changed history, and this is their story. Brute Force is the ultimate video history of weapons in war, in a collection only from Time Life Video. Join host George C. Scott and watch man's never-ending search for the ultimate weapon. See the latest smart weapons tested on the battlefield, and look back at the breakthroughs and disasters along the way. Go airborne with your first video, Fighters, for just $9.99, and see the complete history of airplanes at war. Call now, and we'll also send you aircraft carriers, absolutely free. That's 2 videos for the price of 1. Future videos each trace the complete evolution of a single weapon system. See how it feels to have the ultimate weapon on your side. Call now and order.
To order your brute force and get your free aircraft carriers for only $9.99, call 1-800-352-2121, 1-800-352-2121, or send $9.99 plus $3.49 shipping to this address.
From the big hitters to the big guns, running it down or throwing them out, everybody wants that flag. A division race is a race, but it's all about the chase. Root presents Pennant Chase, Thursday on this regional sports network.
The SeaDogs on top now, 6-5, as Howell picks up that goal. The former University of Washington player converting as he was headed to the seat of his pants, and the off-speed enough to fool Martini, and a good placement.
Well, it's no longer a dry Martini. He shed some tears, and if I were Martini right now, I'd be all over my defenders. That's the third goal that's been given to them by the defense collapsing and getting in the way and not doing the job. If you're going to position yourself between the keeper and the shooter, then you've got to make sure that you make the kill. And in this case, the defender overcommits. That leaves Martini screened again, and a right-footed shot underneath the falling defender beats him standing still. So it's one of those limp goals. There's no power to it. It just sneaks in the far corner. So Martini's got to be pretty upset right now as Dallas is.
Brought Kevin Smith out as the sixth attacker with 3:49 still to play in the game. Sixth attacker has not worked well so far for the Sidekicks. They've given up 4 goals in less than 10 minutes. In the sixth attacker frame, open net now for Broughton. Tips it wide, however, with the spin.
That's what makes this game so exciting. You know, it's kind of like in hockey or any goal game. It's inches, it's a curve instead of a straight shot.
Are you a little surprised that they go to a sixth attacker this early, trailing by just 1?
Well, with reference to the results and the success they've had, they probably figure they're going to need more time to do this. And if you're a hockey fan, you think in terms of the last minute. 1 minute to play is synonymous with getting the keeper out or the goaltender out. I'm a little surprised he started with almost 4 minutes, but then again, they're going to need a little extra help.
Stavro out on the field along with Doyle, Smith, Troy, Tattoo, and Woodbury in this sixth attacker setup. SeaDogs right now working with Furtiman out on top along with Broughton, Matson, Shannon Murray, and Leo Pernia. Smith trying to give chase to this one. Will he get to it in time? No, it'll forward.
Dave Manson's played some goal in soccer in his life, and he understands angles, and he certainly probably was dreaming of that opportunity, but there's still plenty of time left, 2 minutes and 22 seconds as we watch the ball roll in, and Smith, of course, doesn't have the speed to get there, but it's not time to celebrate yet. There's still time for Dallas to come back and strike more than just once.
And you know what? In the book, it looks like a darter to the top shelf. Second goal this season, and back comes Dallas.
Yeah, that took all of about 13 seconds. This is the kind of situation that makes the indoor game as exciting as it is, where it doesn't matter if you've only got a few seconds left, you can strike very quickly.
There was a rocket by Smith, his third goal of the year. And again, Gonzalez didn't see that one until it cleared his last line of defense.
That's exactly it. He probably won't get a better picture if he looks in the newspaper tomorrow.
Tattoo trying to get it to Woodbury. And again, a 1-goal game inside of 2 minutes to play.
And Seattle can't afford to just kind of go crazy here. They just got to get their composure and block the passing and shooting lines and make sure they pick up the weak side player.
Troy tried to lay it back for Smith. Pernia intercepts. Shannon Murray chipping wide. Fontana racing with Troy. Troy trying to get out of trouble. Plays it long. Intercepted there by Pernia. Stavro with Pernia. Smith gets it back to Stavro. To Tattoo. Tried to draw the foul from Matson. Didn't get a call. Gonzalez waiting. Plays the angle. I don't know how anyone can hear themselves think right now, but finally, through the use of clever hand signals, the SeaDogs are able to call a timeout with 1:13 to play in the fourth quarter, and Seattle leading it by a 7-6 score. Good luck, Fernando Clavio, trying to talk to your team.
Well, you got to get a message across that this is the time to just stay with the plan, stay focused, look for opportunities. They're going to be overcommitting.
Gordon Jago hollering at Doyle as Doyle goes, look, there's coach and player again as he goes to the bench. A real surprise there, I'd have to think.
Yeah, that has to help because when you have dissension between coach and one of the team leaders, that can play into Seattle's hands here. But Seattle's got to focus on doing the right things for the next 73 seconds. They simply got to use the time appropriately, not get panicked because they're outnumbered out in the field. Look for the pop to the other end, make them chase, make them come back and get the ball in their own end. I'd play ugly if I were out there right now. Just send the ball every chance you can down to the other end and take your chances with a three-line pass, anything to eat up the clock.
A look at Kevin Smith, who just picked up his third goal of the season.
Yeah, and there you have a player turning away. I didn't quite get the number, but when a ball comes like that and a player turns out of its pathway, obviously that's going to put the keeper in jeopardy.
Smith fielding this one in back. Dallas out shooting Seattle 34-24 here in the game, but they're down a goal as we reach the 1-minute mark. Doyle's still out on the field.
Yeah, this is a time for containment. Don't overcommit. Don't chase in this case. Just simply sit up there and contain. Force them to come into your pocket. Don't overcommit and leave your team outnumbered even more.
Stavro looking for the equalizer. Smith back to Stavro. Doyle tried to get him to Troy. Had to play it back. Doyle. Troy. Sidekicks spending a lot of time, but they find Woodbury now. Tattoo open. Gonzalez got a piece of it. Troy blocked again. Third time off the glass. Doyle. Smith, one last chance. Block. That should do it. And the SeaDogs will hang on to beat the Dallas Sidekicks. Just when we were talking about the deliberate pace of the Sidekicks, they slide to Woodbury. There was Tattoo with the game equalizer on his foot, and Gonzalez came up with a big, big save.
Incredible finish. It's one of those morale boosters that certainly can help your team, and now things, of course, potentially getting a little ugly.
Yeah, they're having to put up several different battles now, you can see. Pernia being chased off. There was another one on the other end of the field, which was broken up by the players themselves as they shook hands. And now teammates going after one another. A red card has been given to Pernia, so he'll be out his next game. And a game which has been chippy at times throughout the four quarters gets a little nasty as the teams try to come off the field.
Well, and this is very unfortunate because to have a team that's really struggling to develop their personalities, to define themselves a little bit, and then to have things break down like this.
You see Dave talking, Fernando Clavio talking with Troy. There you can see the Seattle coach talking with Troy, who's still hot. So
it's one of those things that nobody knows right now, but probably what happened is Pernia said something or Troy said something, and that sets it off. A team that's got pride like Dallas and thinks they should come in and win this game, and he's pretty upset, that's for sure. But cooler heads are prevailing now, and things are calming down a bit. But it's unfortunate that something like this has to end that way. That doesn't say good things for the team or for the sport, and it's unfortunate we had to see that.
Clavillo still checking about the red card as well. A little frustration for the Sidekicks. The SeaDogs pick up their third win of the season, hanging on for a one-goal victory.